Hi, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about something pretty hard I went through when I was 16. My mom just all of a sudden left my family and moved to another country. When I was a teenager, I thought psychology was so boring. I didn't even know that it could be easier. It wasn't until I started changing my mind that I started understanding what freedom was. So when I was a kid, I thought my parents were happy. I thought we had this kind of great little family. My parents never fought. They were always together. I had no idea anything was wrong. And then the summer I turned 16, I was away at camp. My whole family came to pick me up, and my parents took me and my brother to this park. And they sat us down and they told us that they were getting a divorce and that my mom just wasn't coming home. And from that day on, I literally only saw my mom once a year. And that was also the summer that my brother was going away to college. So it was sort of all of a sudden just me and my dad. So that was pretty tough to cope with. Your mom's supposed to be the one that always loves you no matter what. The one that never leaves you. And losing that was devastating. I felt so sad and lonely and rejected and abandoned. So my brain tried to figure out how to cope with this. And if you've been watching these videos, you'll know that I went through something pretty scary when I was little, where my house was bombed. The way my brain figured out how to cope with that then was to literally shut off all my feelings and pretend that everything was fine. So when my mom left, my brain didn't know how to cope with it any other way. And so it just did exactly the same thing. And I just started to pretend that I was fine. I refused to talk about it. If someone brought it up, I would immediately shut them down. And I couldn't handle that it was even happening. I just wore this mask. And because it was so overwhelming and I had no idea how to deal with it, I started feeling really helpless. And I started feeling like a victim. So if you've ever felt like a victim of anything before, it basically feels like you have no power and there's someone else that's the bad guy or the persecutor, and you desperately wish someone would just make it all go away and rescue you. And that's what's called the drama triangle. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like a helpless victim. I felt like my mom was the bad guy, and I just wanted someone to fix it and make it all go away. And as long as I saw myself as a victim, nothing could ever change for me. By blaming my mom for how I felt, I was saying that she had power over me. I was saying that this thing that she did had the ability to control how I felt forever. Just because she left, that meant I was going to feel lonely and isolated and rejected, and there was nothing I could do about it. And then my mind didn't know what to do with all those helpless feelings. And so it came to the conclusion that there was something wrong with me. I must have done something to deserve this. So that is the trap of the drama triangle. When I'm blaming someone else for how I'm feeling, I'm literally saying, I have no power in this situation, and therefore there must be something wrong with me. So, how did I change that? It took a pretty long time to get the courage up to ask for help. But when I did, I started learning how to see things differently. And once I stopped seeing myself as a victim, that's when everything changed. Then I could start focusing on me and what power I had. And then I could change things for myself. Then I was able to tell her that what she did wasn't okay. And I set boundaries with her. And I actually could create a relationship with her that worked for me on my terms. And now I'm really close with her in this weird way. That whole situation brought us to a totally different level in our relationship. And the awesome thing that I realized going through that is that if I hadn't experienced that, there's no way I could do the work that I do in the way that I do it. If I hadn't felt those feelings and really had to figure out how to cope with them, I wouldn't be able to help other people that are going through something similar. So now I'm actually grateful that I went through that, because it brought me where I am today. And I'm pretty excited about where I am today. So if you feel like a victim and someone's hurt you, all you need to do is recognize that something awful has happened. Let yourself feel sad and angry about it. Make sure you've got support to cope with all those feelings. And then remember that no one can take away your power. This situation doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to keep impacting you. You can decide what you do with it now. So then just decide on one simple thing that you can do that reminds your brain that you have power. Talking to a friend about it that you trust. Stop hanging out with that person that's being mean to you. Treat yourself to something that you really enjoy. Whatever it is, as soon as you start focusing on you, all of a sudden your brain remembers the power that you have, and you stop feeling like a helpless victim. And then you stop thinking there's something wrong with you. You can start deciding what you do with that situation. How are you going to see that situation? How are you going to turn that situation into something that benefits you? So next week I talk to the amazing Sarah about something really hard that she went through and what she did about it.
All through primary school and up through a bit of high school, I was bullied quite severely. I've developed an anxiety disorder.
That's it. Thanks for listening.